seen, bro? Long time not see. Watch my guys. Welcome to On the Beat podcast. But this man, Brian in the house, you understand? He and the other fellas set me up, right? They set me up.
Talk about football.
They set me up. You understand? We was
last minute.
What do you mean last minute?
Last
so it's not a last minute, man?
No, well, what I mean last minute, so you know the speed of things, you're not being able to think right now, but you'd have be a perfect guy for that certain.
Yo, I wanted to go and watch some talent, and I heard that Trinidad and Tobago playing better football and so on, and I lost the chance. They denied me the chance, the opportunity to come and see real talent. You understand? How much we did win by? 3-0, right? So we go into the gold. So we go into the Gold Cup. Yeah, because they had. So we go into the Gold Cup. So talking about talent, how about nurturing talent? You understand? Because you see it in the football industry. You see it, you know, with people who growing up and may have talents and have some kind of giftings. How can we nurture talents?
Well, first of all, you have to be able to see it.
Yeah.
And in seeing the talent, I think just being there to support and give guidance first.
You think, sorry to cut you across, but you think in today's society we nurture talent properly?
No. Not really. At least in Trinidad and Tobago. But, I mean, with talent, you must have guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah, because most of it, when you look at talent, you look at it from a lower level coming up. And youths might know how to nurture that on their own.
Yeah.
They might just understand basically, I got at this, but someone to really see where someone could go and help them along that journey, I think that is very important.
So we're talking about people who might be responsible for nurturing talent.
Yes.
Could be people like parents, teachers.
Parents foremost.
Parents foremost, teachers.
Yeah, that school environment.
You understand?
Community.
Maybe your boss.
Even elders in your community.
Yeah. Like spiritual leaders or businessmen or.
Yeah. Or you might just have, for instance, let us say you have, you usually play a little football or basketball within your community.
Yeah.
And you have elders there who probably have reached a certain distance. I could say, hey, come, I have just somebody I wanted to meet, because even something simple as that could lead you far. You know, just giving you the opportunity to see something different or touch something that you know.
But I think I agree with you in the aspect of in a society like today, right? Where every man is for themselves.
Yeah.
They didn't want to mingle with each other.
Yeah.
They didn't want to actually go and help out somebody, a neighbor, a normal neighbor. True. So how can one nurture talent when you only thinking about yourself? You understand?
Yeah. Well, that's just a truth that I guess we recognize that area where society going to, and to be honest, I don't know how we could pull back from that.
Yeah.
That is something that is a sad truth.
Watch man. I was listening to ESPN the other day. They were talking about something similar. The US, how they now trying to integrate football, what they call soccer.
Soccer,
right?
Yes.
Yeah, soccer. Right? They trying to hopefully one day make soccer one of their number one sports, right? So
like NFL and
and the coach go on and say something like, one day we will be number one in the world. After that they get licked. But the ESPN commentator said that how can you say such comment when soccer is not even think of? You understand? You could say that for NFL, you could say that for hockey, you could say that for the NBA, but you can't say that for soccer because of the fact that They play a match, the stadium half empty.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And then he was trying to highlight how the culture doesn't make room to nurture talent towards that kind of game.
Right.
And even if a coach say, hey, let me coach these people, he would actually ask for a certain amount of money per child.
Yeah.
You understand? Trying to gain from a talent.
Yeah.
While he referenced a team like Argentina, where in the neighborhood they see talent, man, everybody, every household, you understand, trying to nurture that talent, and they playing football in the streets, and all these type of things. You remember when we used to see that in Trinidad?
Yeah. I could remember a younger sweating in the road. I could remember, and you know your neighbors because you're coming out to interact and play football, cricket, whatever sport it is, but you're outside.
Yeah.
And there's something, I'm not saying that I believe that it's still there, but at a lower extent.
At a very low,
You know, that way, but.
When last, is a fella who is drive, when last you had to wait for them to move a goal or move a wicket aside?
I can't tell you last time, or you roll over a slipper, slipper. So you roll over a slipper because, men sweating in the streets. Hard football.
It can't, watch man, he's a fast driver.
Yeah.
I cannot be driving fast back in the day, you understand?
I can remember where I live in Coal Mine, higher up, have a hill, and we sweating on the hill. On the hill, it's slant, not bad. Slant, and that's a main road. That is to go beach, and we sweated when cars stopped. You move. Well, I think it was slippers, so they was able to move. We just move out the road, and but.
Watch my, those were the times when nurturing a talent was easy. Hence the reason why back then we reached the World Cup.
Yeah.
You understand? Back then it had clubs that was working in Trinidad, and nurturing talent was happening.
Yeah.
Let me move this even into the education system for young people. Does teachers do a good job now, you understand, in selling their product or in nurturing talent? Or they just doing the job for a salary?
I heard of something before I start teaching. And a simple thing. To be a teacher is not just a job. It's a calling. But there are some teachers who in it for just the job. But when you're dealing with youths and you understand, hey, there's someone who have a play in society later on, they recognize how important it is to guide and give that level of support, and to be able to just not only sell your subject area but assist the student in other realms in life that they need assistance in the sense of advice, a simple thing like that. Or to give a different output on something that someone that student might never experience before. So it's there, but to the extent again, and I'm not sure, especially when we talk about talent, physical, sports, and that kind of thing. I know academics is of a big thing. Probably in more prestige schools, you might find that skill and talent being portrayed a little more.
So true, because I find they could change the curriculum a little more to accommodate and because it have young people who you would see that they're good with their feet, they're good with their hands, they're good by just picturing what on the board. And that is how they study. They don't really have to read the words. That's visual.
Tactile, will be able to do things with their hands.
And I think a teacher is almost like similar like a coach, where you have to know how to put together a team. You understand? Because each person have their own position. And not everybody that's in the class getting towards the same position. You understand? So therefore you have to know how to reach for a coach, you want to know how to
Yeah.
adapt the situation to accommodate this defender or this forward. Would a teacher accommodate a so-called clown in the class? You understand? Adapt the scenario to say, hey, we go and play Scrabble. You understand today?
Yeah.
In English.
I think that's what you're speaking about is something that, I mean, not everybody would share the same view, but it's something that, you know, we have to consider everybody, even those who might not be as willing or, you know, might struggle. But that's good way to say. That's a real good question. That's a good question to go in schools and ask teachers. You go to a mic and they ask teachers, how would you accommodate students like A, B, C, D?
Yeah. Instead of, hey, you're talking too much in class, go outside.
Stand by the door. But
yeah. It's real serious things.
Yeah.
You as a teacher, right? Does your firstly, I'm going to ask you a stupid question because I know it wouldn't be negative on this answer.
Right.
Does your students understand what you are selling? You understand meaning what you are teaching? Do they gravitate to what you are teaching? They want more and they actually learn from what you doing?
Yeah. Given my ear in technical drawing, how to put it is like a ladder. So you must know most times if they understand, especially like operating AutoCAD. If you reach the end of Form 4 and you can't draw, then we know something wrong because you must operate AutoCAD to be able to draw and to do certain things. So by producing work, I would know where they're at. If they fully grasp what is going on, or, you know, if they have a little struggle along the way, like time, they might be able to move fast enough. But based on, I believe, my teaching style, I believe that, all of them understand. Some of them choose not to. So I ain't really going with you in here. I listen to you, but I ain't really feeling TD like that. You know, that kind of way. So a lot of times too, you might think that they don't understand you, but you probably didn't grasp the attention to say, hey, this is Sir Hammer attention here, we are here, class. Some of them, you see them, they're in the quiet and they're just there, you know.
One thing I like about young people in this generation, they're outspoken.
Yeah.
So they will actually tell you, so me understand what you're saying there, you know?
The vocal.
Yeah, instead of you have to actually ask them, come on, tell me if you understand. Tell me if you understand.
No, but that, I would think that still remains.
That's still there.
You understand? Yes, sir. Yeah. No more students say, you sure you understand? When you start to walk by this, I didn't really understand. And I say, show me again. And, you know, I feel that for me, that's still there. But express how they feel and thing, so I ain't feeling class today, you know, say, could over class 5 minutes early. Them kind of thing, you could get that.
Yes. So, noting you, as I say, it had to be a calling, especially as a teacher.
Yeah, it is. For me, I experienced it, and that's my belief that it is a calling. It's something that you really have to do from here, because a lot of it is from here. You might think is here giving you content, but I believe is much more than that.
Will you get tired of it?
There is the way how the system is there. Yeah, will be weary at times. But
because I've seen some teachers getting tired of
classroom.
Yes, classrooms and so on. Hi. Take it there.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Guys, coffee.
Come on.
Yeah, again, it's at Bakes at 350, right in Grandy.
Yeah, you all have to try it out. Yeah, let's show them little coffee,
Yeah, best thing, man, best thing. Yeah, recently, you know about the big trade in basketball.
Lakers.
Right? Yeah,
Luka.
the under. What? I thought that was a drug trade or something. What? Because nobody didn't know about it.
And that is I think that's what you said.
Yeah.
Nobody knew about it.
Nobody, not even the player himself knew about it.
It was under
Under the table. You understand? That is kind of real high. You know, you normally see these type of things in movies where they meet each other for coffee or some underground place and they talk one-on-one. You understand? To make a deal. And they shake on it. And then next thing you know, a week later, you see big news on the newspaper, on headlines, on the social media. You understand? So, but here what I don't like, what they trade Luka for, right? They highlighting that he doesn't have the mentality to be disciplined enough to do this game, to lead them to a championship. You understand? They highlight, you know, he is smoke, he is drink,
his diet.
They try to paint a bad picture on him, but it's kind of weird because he carried them to the finals last year, though. You understand? And they're always saying he not fit enough, but yet he giving you 30 points per night, right? So seeing that organization views that as critical, you understand? Is there a lesson for young people inside it?
Of course. And you're seeing it, discipline. And another thing in society is perspective. Your perspective and my perspective on one situation might be different. You know this way. So for youths, what I take from it there is the ability to adapt and compromise and give a level of understanding to something that you desire to follow. You know, so for youth, the same thing. If you look at us in Trinidad, real youths playing football. Talking about youths that we know, me and you know. After they play a football, the game is what? KFCs, where we get. And just, it is something normal, but a way to understand where I'm coming from in the sense that I really following this thing for what it is. And that means I have to sacrifice. And sacrifice is something I think that youths understand, but not all practice it. And not all go through that level of sacrifice when it comes to that desire to end up somewhere where we talk about football. Where, you know, because in Trinidad today, I'm sure you probably, tell me if you ever heard this. Our parents say, where you want to be a footballer? Where you going with that in Trinidad?
So true. Well, it happened to me.
Yes.
It happened to me. So I know what you're talking about.
So you could see. Yeah. You could see.
Yeah, my dad refused me to experience sports at a high level.
Right.
You understand? And he say, hey, sports ain't gonna get you nowhere, books will get you somewhere.
Right.
You understand? So I didn't get that support there. And I understand what he's highlighting in the aspect of young people don't take it as serious. Yeah, because as they highlight, they go and buy the KFC, they go and buy the job, so they go and buy whatever.
And that is one little area, but you know, in the other aspects, you know, you get up in the morning, you run, you know, you develop a regiment, not because somebody on your back as well, you know, because, you know, hey, this is what I want, this is where my skill level has to be at, because, you know, I'm only competing here. If, you know, I get opportunity to go abroad, to play with Canada or somewhere else, you know,
the culture different. The culture different.
They fighting, and I have a disadvantage.
I remember even in the off season, when the season over, these guys would team up. This is abroad I'm talking about. They would team up from various teams. You understand, in somebody's backyard, or in some court, and try to get the fitness up without the team telling them to do so. You understand? And so when it's time for training camp to start now for the new season, they have a level. And young people tend to gravitate towards, how to say, they tend to gravitate to bad habits. You understand? And the portraying of bad habits through music or through the movies or whatever be the case, and the culture that they live in. So how can they readjust and say, hey, I want to be serious about this?
Well, to be honest, so many things could help. Home could help.
Yeah.
You could help. I could help. You know, and then the ball is in their court. You know, the government could assist, put things in place. There are a lot of things that could happen for youths today to really see where their potential could take them. You know, because if you leave them on their own, the amount of things that happening around us, just the music alone, you see how easy it is for them to just fall off.
Yeah.
Because remember, the negative thing is always the easiest thing to do. You know, the positive thing takes hard work. You know, it's like
dedication.
Even in books, it's easy to sit down for a free period and waste time.
Tell
you pick up a book and do a maths question or something. You find out like hell, the point you through it. Sit down here, watch a book here, sit aside, because for some reason the positive things, you know, always takes a little extra. You know, it takes a little bit of, you know, that your own mind too now. You know, your own mind is I ain't know with nobody else. I studying me, let me do this for me. I think a lot of youths do harder today too.